In recent times, tensions have been brewing between two major nations, India and Canada. The story reads like a spy thriller and involves a state that doesn't exist, diplomatic wrangling, airplane hijacks, and alleged international assassinations. Today, we'll explore what led to these tensions and look at the key factors at play. Welcome to the Global Insight. Canada, one of the renowned friendliest nations on the planet, has recently found itself entangled in a complex drama that has set the stage for a high-stakes exploration of its foreign policy, particularly concerning its relations with India and the sensitive issue of Khalistan. Led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the latest twist to this drama includes whispers of a covert influence wielded by a select few within Canada's security apparatus, which have echoed through the corridors of power, casting a long shadow on the nation's foreign relations. So, why this sudden change in room temperature? Let's take a look at their ties over recent years. The two nations' political history is typically characterized by easy diplomatic relations, trade ties, and genial cultural exchanges. In India's pre-independence era, the two countries had limited interactions, even during the colonial period, while India was under British rule and Canada was part of the British Empire. When India gained independence from British rule in 1947, and shortly after becoming a republic in 1950, Canada recognized the fledgling nation's independence and promptly established diplomatic relations, installing diplomatic missions in each other's countries, with the High Commission of Canada in India and the High Commission of India in Canada. Trade relations between the two countries grew steadily over the years, with Canada exporting a range of products to India, such as agricultural goods, minerals, and machinery, while India has exported textiles, pharmaceuticals, and information technology services to Canada. In 1974, Canada suspended nuclear cooperation with India after India conducted its first nuclear weapons test. This led to a period of strained relations, but generally things have been cordial and steady since, until recently. Leaked information suggesting China's interference in Canada's domestic affairs ignited a media storm, adding fuel to the ongoing debate surrounding Canada's relations with India and the controversial Khalistan movement. Trudeau, facing mounting pressure, initially responded by appointing a special rapporteur to investigate the allegations. However, public demand forced him to concede to calls for a public inquiry. Added to that, recent developments reveal that Canada's espionage drama has pivoted towards India. An investigative report by two of Canada's leading publications, The Globe and Mail, hinted at India's involvement in the assassination of a Canadian Sikh separatist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The Globe and Mail's editor revealed that the Prime Minister's office sought a delay in publishing the story, injecting further complexity into the already delicate dance of India-Canada news. Trudeau eventually made a statement linking India to the killing. This situation is perceived as an affront to the will of the Canadian people and a violation of the advisory role that security services are supposed to play in a constitutional democracy. Now, Prime Minister Trudeau is faced with the imperative to reassert control over Canada's security services, particularly in the context of India-Canada relations and the contentious Khalistan issue. The alleged assassination on Canadian soil by Indian agents will demand a thorough investigation and a scrutinised evaluation of Canada-India relations. So, what is Khalistan, and why is it proving to be such a contentious issue between the two countries? Let's take a closer look. Khalistan refers to a proposed independent Sikh state that some Sikhs have advocated for in the Punjab region of India. The term Khalistan is derived from two Punjabi words, Khalis meaning pure, Stan meaning land or nation. Therefore, Khalistan translates to land of the pure in Punjabi. The Khalistan movement emerged in the 1970s and gained momentum in the 1980s during a period of unrest in the Indian state of Punjab. Some Sikhs who felt marginalised and believed that their religious and cultural rights were being denied by the Indian government began demanding the creation of an independent Sikh state of Khalistan. The movement was fueled by a sense of Sikh identity and a desire for political autonomy. Here are some of the key points of the Khalistan movement. The Khalistan movement has historically been marred by violence and terrorism, including bombings, assassinations and clashes with security forces. The most notable incident was Operation Blue Star in 1984, when the Indian Army stormed the Golden Temple in Amritsar, one of the holiest Sikh shrines, to flush out militants who had taken refuge there. Some members of the Sikh diaspora in countries like Canada, the United Kingdom and United States supported the Khalistan movement. This led to international attention and occasional incidents involving violence or protests. The Indian government then took strong measures to suppress the Khalistan movement, leading to the arrest and prosecution of many Sikh activists. The conflict resulted in significant loss of life and instability in Punjab. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Khalistan movement had largely declined due to a combination of factors, including a crackdown by Indian security forces, divisions within the Sikh community, and a shift in the global political landscape. More recently, Canada became drawn into the fray when on the 18th of June 2023, Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead in the parking lot of a Sikh temple in British Columbia. Nijjar was allegedly the head of two pro-Khalistan organisations in Canada and had been accused by the Indian government of orchestrating targeted killings in India, for which it unsuccessfully sought his extradition. Born in Jalandhar, Punjab, Nijjar moved to Canada in 1997, where he got married and had 2 children. He worked as a plumber, eventually settling in British Columbia. Interestingly, Nijjar allegedly arrived in Canada on a fraudulent Indian passport. He also applied for political asylum, but his application was rejected because his passport was fake. As time passed, Nijjar was known to support the Khalistan movement, later even joining the Khalistan Tiger Force, or KTF for short. It was around this time that he became known to the Indian authorities and was being monitored on suspicion of terrorist activities. The KTF itself had been declared a terror organisation in India, and their founder, Jagtar Singh Tara, belonged to another militant organisation, Babar Khalsa International. For this reason, the Indian authorities requested that their allies, Canada, Australia and the UK, take action against Khalistani activists. On the face of it, their allies agreed, but it seems in reality they were more reluctant to act. To further inflame tensions, Canada has suggested that India has infringed on their sovereignty and claimed that a crime has been carried out on their soil. But this problem runs far deeper than it initially appears, because throughout the long campaign of the separatists, there appears to be a common thread involving murder, airline hijackings and bombings that have affected many other nations. They include September 1981, the hijacking of Indian Airlines Flight 423, November 1981, terror group Babar Khalsa killed 2 policemen from Punjab before fleeing to Canada. June 23, 1985, a bomb is placed in a flight flying to Japan in which 2 luggage handlers lose their lives and 4 people are injured. Also June 23, 1985, Air India Flight 182, in which 329 people lose their lives off the coast of Ireland in the worst aviation attack prior to the September 11th attacks in the United States in 2001. When the terror group Babar Khalsa committed the terror attack on 2 policemen, one of the 2 suspects was identified as Talwinder Singh Parmar, who fled to Canada. Of course, the government of India formally requested Canada for cooperation, but the Canadian government did not help. That government, interestingly, was led by none other than Pierre Trudeau, the father of the incumbent Prime Minister. So, this begs the question, why are the Canadians reluctant to help, and, according to India, overtly protecting such militants? More to the point, what signals does Canada send out when it refuses to help India repatriate those accused of crimes? Surely, some may see it as an excuse to support the Khalistan movement. Tensions escalated prior to Justin Trudeau's visit to the G20 summit in India in September 2023, and the world watched closely to see how the espionage drama might unfold, and they were not let down. The Prime Minister was forced to remain in the country for 2 extra days in an embarrassing turn when his airplane was grounded due to a technical snag. Notwithstanding, Mr. Trudeau's visit, according to India Today, did nothing to mend the frosty ties that he has developed with India. This was due to an unexpected announcement that Canada would pause talks on a trade treaty between the 2 countries on the run-up to his visit in Delhi. In fact, one of the main drivers of tension between India and Canada has been trade relations. Both countries have been engaged in disputes over a range of issues, such as tariffs, agricultural exports, and market access. India's protectionist policies, particularly in the agricultural sector, have been a point of contention. These policies have affected Canadian exports, leading to frustration on the Canadian side. Geopolitical issues have also played a significant role in the tensions. India's stance on certain international matters, like its position on the Ukraine crisis or its relations with China, have not aligned with Canadian interests. Diverging foreign policy priorities have also created disagreements, and this has impacted diplomatic relations between the 2 countries. Human rights concerns have been another source of tension. Canada has been vocal in its criticism of India's human rights record, particularly regarding the treatment of minority groups and activists. Indeed, Canada's stance has irked Indian authorities, who see it as interference in their domestic affairs. So, is Canada a true ally of India's, or do they have diverging interests? They cannot dismiss the fact that the Indian community in Canada is the largest Indian community in any foreign country. But Canada's liberal approach to protecting some people that India want to try on terrorism charges has pitted the 2 nations against each other. One wonders why Canada might seek to provoke such a powerful ally. Despite these tensions, both countries have engaged in diplomatic efforts to find common ground. High-level meetings and negotiations have taken place in an attempt to address these issues. It remains to be seen how these diplomatic efforts will shape the future of India-Canada relations. Finding a resolution to these issues will require careful diplomacy and a willingness to compromise from both sides. So, as the world watches, the path forward for these 2 nations remains uncertain. But dialogue and cooperation will be the key to maintaining stability in an ever-changing global landscape. Thank you for joining us at the Global Insight and watching this video. If you've liked it, let us know by commenting and sharing it with your community. For more great videos, follow our channel, The Global Insight. Just click subscribe. Thanks again, and until next time, stay tuned.